Imagine the sky suddenly tearing open. No warning, no explanation. Armed soldiers fall from the air, bleeding, terrified. And the world goes silent as they deliver one sentence that freezes humanity forever. In 30 years, every human on Earth will be dead. Not maybe, not someday, extinct. And the future doesn't come back to save us. It comes back with a demand: fight our war or never exist at all. What if the greatest threat to humanity has already arrived, and we're the only ones who don't know it yet? Stay with me till the end, because this story gets darker, more shocking, and more emotional than you can imagine. And if you enjoy powerful movie recaps like this, subscribe now, because you are not ready for what happens next in the Tomorrow War. The movie opens during the FIFA World Cup final. The stadium is full, the world is watching when suddenly everything stops. The sky above the stadium tears open like shattered glass, and armed soldiers fall straight onto the field. People scream, players run, cameras shake. The soldiers quickly take control and make an announcement broadcast worldwide. They are humans from the year 2051, and they bring terrifying news. In their time, an alien species appeared in 2048 and wiped out most of humanity within 3 years. Cities fell, armies collapsed, and by 2051, fewer than 500,000 humans remained alive. The future has come back for help. This global conflict becomes known as the Tomorrow War. Governments argue but eventually approve a global draft, sending civilians 30 years into the future to fight a war they don't understand. One of those civilians is Dan Forrester, a former Green Beret now working as a high school biology teacher. Dan is intelligent but deeply frustrated with his life. He once dreamed of becoming a great scientist, and he fears becoming a disappointment to his young daughter, Muri, whom he loves deeply. Dan is drafted. After only a few days of rush training, he's sent through the time jump. But something goes horribly wrong. Instead of landing safely, Dan and hundreds of recruits appear hundreds of feet above a ruined city. Soldiers slam into buildings and streets, dying instantly. This is the future. The survivors learn about their enemy, terrifying creatures called Whitespikes. They are fast, armored, and ruthless. Bullets barely slow them down. Dan's first mission sends him into a flooded Miami to rescue scientists. Almost immediately, the Whitespikes attack. Soldiers are torn apart. Dan barely survives. As he looks around at the destruction, one horrifying truth becomes clear. This war is already lost, and the next person Dan meets will change everything. Dan is taken to a fortified future base, expecting punishment. Instead, he's brought before the officer who personally requested him, Colonel Muri Forrester. Within seconds, Dan realizes she knows him. Then she reveals the truth. She is his daughter, not the little girl he left behind, but her future self, older, brilliant, and hardened by loss. Muri explains the future Dan never lived to see. In her timeline, he drifted away from his family, his dreams collapsed, and years before the alien invasion began, he died. She grew up without him. Now she is one of the last scientists alive. Muri reveals the real mission. Humanity isn't trying to win the war anymore, they're trying to end it. No one knows where the Whitespikes came from, and without their origin, the invasion can't be stopped. She has been working on a toxin capable of killing the aliens permanently. Dan's biology background makes him essential. Together, they test the toxin on a captured Whitespike, a terrifying, intelligent creature that constantly adapts. Outside the lab, soldiers continue dying as the world collapses. Finally, the toxin works. But before it can be mass-produced, alarms scream through the base. The Whitespikes are attacking. Thousands swarm the facility. Defenses fail instantly. Soldiers are overwhelmed. Humanity's last stronghold begins to fall. Dan fights desperately to protect Muri as they try to escape. But the future is running out of time, and the next moment will break everything. The base collapses under the alien assault. Helicopters crash. Soldiers are ripped apart. The future finally reaches its breaking point. During the escape, tragedy strikes. Muri is mortally wounded. As she lies dying in Dan's arms, the war fades away, replaced by something more painful, a daughter facing the father she lost too early. With her final strength, she gives Dan the toxin and one last mission. Find where the Whitespikes came from. Destroy them before the war ever begins. Moments later, Dan is pulled back through time, screaming, leaving the future behind. Humanity loses. Dan wakes up in the present, traumatized and grieving a daughter who hasn't died yet, but will if nothing changes. Governments shut down the time link and declare the mission over, believing the future is doomed. Dan knows the truth. The war isn't inevitable. It hasn't even started yet. Studying Murray's research, Dan makes a terrifying discovery. The Whitespikes didn't arrive in 2048. They were already here, and what he uncovers next changes everything. Dan realizes the Whitespikes came from a crashed alien ship buried beneath the ice in Russia. The creatures didn't invade Earth, they were accidentally released. Dan warns world leaders, but they hesitate. Bureaucracy slows everything down. So Dan goes rogue. With his estranged father and a small team, he travels to the frozen crash site. Beneath the ice, they find the alien ship, filled with thousands of dormant Whitespikes waiting. They inject the toxin. Everything goes wrong. The aliens awaken, and a brutal final battle erupts inside the ship. Sacrifices are made as time runs out. In the final moments, Dan kills the female Whitespike, the key to the species' survival. The threat is ended, before humanity ever knows how close it came to extinction. Dan returns home changed, choosing to be present in his daughter's life and fight for the future now, not later. Because the Tomorrow War isn't just about aliens. It's about responsibility. The future isn't something we wait for. It's something we protect today.